Hey guys, what's going on? This is Aaron Edson back with another BP Squared podcast. We've been in hiatus for a few months. Like we said, trying to get the website up and running. We got that up going. We've got Spreaker for the podcast, and guys, it's all good in the hood. We we are rocking and rolling with stuff, and we're getting stuff done. So, as always, I have my wonderful host here, Mr. Shane Phillip. How you doing, sir?
I'm all right, Aaron. And as soon as you said that, my iPhone is just going nuts because we got rains down here in Central Texas, and I guess there's for them to do that, it's either a flash flood warning or a tornado warning. Anyway.
So you're gonna send out all that rain to us because it's supposed to be raining for the next 2 weeks.
Oh, it's a flash flood warning. No big deal. I don't have to worry about my house and me flying off to Kansas.
Yeah.
Anyway, so hey guys, thanks for joining us. I apologize for being away. Aaron has been hard at work under the hood, building a new website, moving everything over from Squarespace over to WordPress, and now we're back, and we're going to try to be a little bit more consistent on the political podcast, but Aaron has been doing a great job of putting up a lot of information. So please go to linsonproductions.com, www.linsonproductions.com, and check out all of our content. And if you find our information valuable, and if you are moved to do so, Aaron, I'm sure you've already done this, but please become a Patreon member, contribute to our efforts, help us because as we will discuss today on the topic of Facebook, but social media companies like Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube are working harder and harder to demonetize opinions that they disagree with, things from a conservative or a Christian perspective, which means that we're not going to receive revenues from those individuals as it relates to ad revenue. We're going to have to generate revenue from our subscribers and the people out there that find our content valuable. So please become a Patreon member and help us continue to bring you content, and the money that we raise is invested right back into equipment and tools to make it a little easier for us to capture information and bring it to you. So with that said, Aaron, I'll hand it over to you. What's in the better's box today? What are we going to talk about?
So one of the things I wanted to talk about was this whole privacy thing with Facebook and them sending your information to basically a research company. I've listened to a couple of podcasts from work, at work, explaining what this was. I don't remember the company name, so I'm sorry about that. But basically, they sold information on these quizzes that you take, saying, what's your, find out what your favorite color is, or find out, what movie character you are, or all that kind of information. They sold, I think the numbers were like 50,000 people.
No, it's more than this. About 50 million users.
Okay, yeah, 50 million users. They had that. They had their information, but they had even more that didn't even take it. So I think the max was like maybe 100 million or something like that. And maybe it was more. I don't remember the exact numbers. But it was more than what the surveys were saying. And so this guy that they sold the information to had it and took it to this basically research university. And this research university basically told Facebook, if you're not going to make your privacy laws and your terms of service something to where people can understand what you're going to do with the privacy, we're going to leak all this information. And Facebook basically said, yeah, right, you're not going to do that. And you can't do that. Well, they did. So Facebook is, and along with other companies, it's not just Facebook, but Facebook is the main target, but other companies may be targeted and may actually want to do right by their users. We'll see if that ever happens. We're looking at you, YouTube. But anyways, they are working on their terms of service, and they are adopting what's called the GDPR. And we actually got a huge legal letter from Google, basically saying what this was, and basically it's the United, the European Union's yeah, European Union's privacy laws, basically saying that they have to disclose what they're doing with your data. Now, I am one to say that I'm not really worried about it, because I understand that once I put information out on the web, it is there for anybody to see. However, if somebody is using data in a way that I don't understand, like Facebook has been doing for years, then I think that we should know what they're doing with it. Now, I understand that with data and location and all this other stuff being out there, that companies are basically sending it to you and sending it to others to make a profit, and tracking you and all this other kind of stuff, which we can make a case for it being useful to us as blind and visually impaired people, and it's also useful for sighted people as well. But then you can also make a case for it for not being as useful and for being locked down as you are. But then we could also say that limits your footprint and what you can and can't see with social media networks.
Yeah. Excuse me. I think the key thing to remember is that whatever we do on the internet is not private. It's there forever and ever. And your footprint will not go away, will never go away. If I could take a minute or two and just kind of go back a little bit, but and kind of provide a little context and a little bit of history. So, Aaron, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. If you are the European Intelligence Service, if you're the United Kingdom's GCHQ or the American CIA, and you wanted to spy on American citizens, you wanted to spy on your populace without the the hassle of actually going to court to secure a warrant and do all these kinds of things. You just wanted to try to get a sense of what's going on in population and trends, and you don't have the patience or the time or the energy to go read newspapers or polling information. What would be a pretty cool way to do that? And so years ago, this is many, many years ago, and people are going to think I'm going to go off in the conspiracy theory area and put my aluminum tinfoil hat back on. But yeah, you got to go research this for yourself. Facebook, what we know is Facebook and social media networks in general, the genesis of that actually goes all the way back to the CIA. The CIA has their own version of a venture capital division, if you will. It's called Intellect, and they invest money in leading technologies that they find valuable. Now, you don't need to be a rocket scientist to put one and two together and figure out what the CIA finds valuable. So, the CIA was one of the original funders of Facebook, one of the original venture capitalists that poured money into Zuckerberg and the creators of Facebook. And so the thought was, if we put something out there that allows people to communicate with one another, share information, photos, pictures, because by nature human beings are we're hams. We want people to look at us. Look at me. Look at what I'm doing. Look at my life. Look at what I'm doing. And to be able to communicate with friends and so on and so forth. You can go back and look at the history of what social media began with, things such as MySpace, Friendster, and what it has become now with Facebook. Facebook dominates it. Now, the CIA and others made a deal with Facebook on the back end, and that is that when you become a member of Facebook, you agree to certain terms and conditions, and all that metadata about you, your likes, your dislikes, your friends, where you went to school, your tendencies, because information is only valuable based upon the information that we provide, right? If I'm constantly volunteering things about myself, does the CIA really need to go to the courts to get a little bit of detail about me and my friends and my network? All they have to do is just find me on freaking Facebook. go to Facebook and gather that metadata. So anyway, long story short, that metadata about Facebook and its users, Facebook captured and held on to that. Whether you guys realized it or not, when you signed up for Facebook, you checked off on a little box accepting terms and conditions, and one of those terms and conditions were that they would capture that information and they would use that information.
Without a warrant.
Use that. Yes and no.
Not a case.
So let's separate the two. You've got Facebook, who needs to generate revenue through advertising, and then you've got the nefarious activities of these various intelligence agencies. Mm-hmm. We'll put that to the side. So Facebook grabs all this metadata and then uses that to go to advertisers and say, okay, we can narrow down our billion users down to zip codes, trends, and likes and dislikes, whether they're conservative or liberal, whether they're Catholic or Muslim, whether they're Hindu or Buddhist, and we can target ads to them. It's called micro-targeting, right? So obviously advertisers find that extremely valuable. If I'm Procter & Gamble or General Motors, do I want to waste millions of dollars on advertising on TV and radio that's going to just get blasted, or do I want targeted marketing? And everybody that's gone to college to study advertising, they realize, targeted marketing is always a whole lot better. So that's how it started. Very, very, tame, nebulous. Okay, fine. Yeah, I understand that I volunteer certain information, and because I am a liberal, I'm going to get certain things pushed my way, and I'm going to get reminded of this or reminded of that, or click on this or click on that. That's fine. I think in the beginning, a lot of people were just fine with that. What Facebook started to do, however, and the real controversy around this is around elections, right? So politicians want control. They want influence. They want to be able to, try to figure out what Aaron's going to do, number one. Number two, which would be even better, maybe influence Aaron to do certain things. So Facebook, the truth of this, and again, you guys can research this, Facebook got in bed with political campaigns, not directly. So, for example, the political campaign for Barack Obama in 2011 wanted to leverage that metadata that Facebook had to be able to reach out to their voters and people that may be motivated to come out and vote for Obama or liberal clauses. They did not go directly to Facebook. They went to a third party, a advertising company, a political consulting company, which Camden Analytics, I think it's Camden or Analytics. Anyway, so they went to companies like this and said, all right, we want to hire you guys to help us with our political campaign. And then that third-party company went to Facebook and said, give us your metadata. We want all that information. And Facebook gladly provided it for a fee. And we as users of Facebook, YouTube, Google, you name the social media platform, Google Hangouts, Google Plus, we have unwittingly volunteered to that. And so the political campaigns grab all this stuff and then they push out micro-targeting. They grab all this information, they create a profile about the particular individual that they want to target, and then they go back to Facebook and they buy ads. And they want to push it to certain individuals. But the really cool thing about micro-targeting is not only are they going after you, but they're going after your circle of friends. What Facebook did not disclose to their users were, Aaron, when you sign off on that user agreement and you volunteer your personal information to Facebook, you have also unwittingly allowed Facebook to have access to your entire network of friends and family and people that may or may not have agreed to the same thing. Private messages, Twitter feeds, individuals
messages.
Text messages.
Calls through Facebook, guys.
Calls through Facebook. Yeah,
text,
absolutely.
They can read your entire message
absolutely.
History, regardless
absolutely.
if you're a friend with somebody or not.
Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. Really, when you step back and think about how devious that is, let me throw something out there that everyone's going to use, and it's going to take off and become viral and become pervasive, become ubiquitous, like electricity or water. And then now I can turn around and capture all that information after a period of time and be able to use it to market to those individuals. Number one. Number two, use it for hand it to political campaigns. And boy, the most dangerous and the most nefarious is because of that relationship that Facebook has with these intelligence agencies, allow the CIA and the FBI and the GCHQ and the FSB and you name whatever intelligence agency on the face of the planet to be able to spy on an entire population, be able to identify what's going on in trends without having to, go through the hard work of reading newspapers or listening to polling information or watching trends that are open source. They have the ability to just really tie into your individual life, whether you like an article or you share an article, or whether you vacation somewhere and you tag somebody, whether you befriend somebody or you unfriend somebody. All those little nuances are captured, and you can write an algorithm around all those nuances to not only spot trends, number one, but number two, predict. After a period of time, Aaron, when they gather enough information about you, because 80% of the time, you are the same person tomorrow that you are today. I'm going to be the same person typically a week from now that I am today. After a period of time of watching my past history, my past behaviors, how easy is it to predict what I'm going to do in the future if something happens?
And
how easy?
Yeah. And to scare you guys even more, too, they can, and if you go off the grid, or if you just say you delete your Facebook account, which that's a whole nother ball of wax we're not even going to get into.
It doesn't even go away. No.
They can find you through your friends, through the people that you're acquainted with.
Yes.
Just like so easy.
Yes.
So easy.
Okay. So if I wanted to disappear, right, I delete Facebook. Let's say I was able to pull it off. I gained my right to privacy. I gained my right to disappear.
Yeah.
So I delete everything, and then I just go off the grid. No one hears anything from me or whatever. Me directly, I go down and I start living in the Cayman Islands, and I'm hanging out with my friends, and somebody takes a picture and puts it on Facebook. Bam, there I am. If somebody wants to find me, he's in the Cayman Islands. Face recognition software, being able to tie past pictures to current events, put one and two together, and there's a guy that we're looking for. So anyway, it's unfortunately Pandora's box is open. The barn door is open. Katie's already gone. There's nothing we're not going to be able to stuff this toothpaste back into the tube anymore. It's out there, but it's something that we need to be aware of. Mm-hmm. And obviously, Facebook is coming down on all kinds of heat because of what they've done, what they did in the past with the Obama campaign, what they did in the past with the Romney campaign, what they did with Brexit. And the people behind that. But you know what really brought this to light is because everybody seems to hate Trump. And when they found out that, organization that may have worked with Trump in his campaign may have used this data that Facebook, gave to them.
The election,
the election's never rigged. But you get the point. That's what caused this to appear on the front page.
Yeah.
And here's another thing. The Federal Trade Commission got wind of Facebook maybe doing this without letting the users know back in 2011 or 2012, and they came down hard on Facebook. And Facebook, put the hand on the Bible, raised the other hand, and said, we will never do this again. Well, guess what? Clearly, with all the revelations that are coming out now, they continue to do it. Mm. They continue to allow those third-party vendors to have access to that information. So supposedly Mark Zuckerberg is supposed to testify before congressional hearings here in a few weeks, and the Federal Trade Commission has opened up a full-blown investigation into Facebook. My prediction, Facebook is dead. I think Facebook is one of three things is going to happen. Facebook survives, but is highly regulated by either the European Union or the Federal Trade Commission here in the U.S. or a combination of multiple agencies like that around the world. So they start treating Facebook like a utility, like they did the Bell, Ma Bell, like they did AT&T way back when before AT&T was broken up. Yeah, treat it as a utility. Number two, Facebook gets broken up into multiple little pieces. So it's no longer one big company, it's multiple little companies. Or the third is Facebook just goes away, that they don't survive this. Their stock, their valuation has taken a $70 billion hit just in the last just in the last couple of weeks. I mean, people are selling off. Zuckerberg was dumping his stock long before any of this happened. That opens up another can of worms. So he was clearly aware of what was going to happen. So there may be some insider trading implications as it relates to him. But that's one of the three things that's going to happen. But the real danger for us as users of these type of tools, be really, really careful. I mean, we've gotten so used to getting on, and me too, I'm just as guilty, gotten so used to getting on the internet, and if I'm sitting in my office upstairs and there's nobody else in the house, having this perceived sense of privacy, that it's just me, I'm looking for this, I'm searching for that. Boy, when you get on the internet, you're opening up your front door to billions of people.
Yes.
That's looking at you.
And they've said for the longest time, Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg have both said this. We're just a platform. We can't do anything about gun violence on Facebook or child pornography on Facebook or what have you. So we kind of did this to ourselves because we could have said, no, you need to be regulated. This is what you need to do to fix this for us to use this. And there are people deleting their accounts to try and get them to understand this. But until a lot of people do it, until your friends of your friends do it, until I go to Shane, I say, hey, you really need to delete your account because this is what's going on. And, oh, by the way, get all your friends that you know to do it as well. And then I get all my friends and my family and my wife to do it and all that and explain to them, hey, this is what's going on. It's not going to happen overnight.
Oh, no.
The users are not going to be triumphant overnight.
No, it's too late, Aaron. I mean, they've got over a billion.
We've screwed the pooch when we've done this to ourselves.
Yes. So they have over a billion users, and even if Facebook went away tomorrow, all of that metadata is not going to go away. They're not going to trash it. They're not going to destroy it. Are you kidding me? You have any idea how valuable that information is to the CIA or other intelligence agencies about what's happening in a particular country as it relates to their populace? See, if I'm a CIA analyst, if I'm one of these eggheads, and I have all this trending information about behaviors and patterns, and I can write algorithms, I can write an algorithm and say, okay, if we started a war in South America, what would the American populace think about that? Well, in the past, it was you'd put your finger up in the air and kind of try to gauge the wind, right? Well, with the Facebook metadata on all their users and everything that we've shared with each other in our trends and whatever, you can create a virtual demographic experiment, if you will. I can go into I can write an algorithm. I've got all this Facebook metadata about what people have done in the past and what people may do in the future, and create all these political scenarios, engage what people are going to do even before I do something. So then I can decide: do I start a war? Or do I not start a war? Do I make a real big push to repeal the Second Amendment, or do I not? Do we start rolling out small little policies to repeal the First Amendment as it relates to freedom of speech, or do I do it slowly over time, like boiling a frog? Because if I do it immediately, I'm going to have a minor revolt on our hands. Aaron, they can get inside your head and figure out what the hell you're going to do before you do it. That is the scary part. And you know what? It's too late. And Zuckerberg and the people at Facebook did it on purpose because they knew. Right. Okay, if you're Mark Zuckerberg and you came out and said, "Hey, I got this thing called Facebook. We've got all these restrictions. We're not going to have this. We're not going to have that. You can't discuss guns. You can't discuss this. You can't." He would have never gotten the user base that he got. No. Because he made it so easy and so open, and anybody could talk about anything and share anything and everything. That's what made it take off. If I put something out on the marketplace with a bunch of rules and conditions and restrictions, it's not going to be popular. It's not going to take off.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
And that's the reason why he did what he did. It was all by design, and it was not just him. It was not just him. It was him, the members of the board, and like I said before, because of the fact that the CIA poured millions of dollars into this at a venture capital stage and helped design it and some of the backdoors and the algorithms, and that's the reason why. And we can really get off into the weeds around what the NSA did with switch manufacturers like Cisco. Everyone talks about, well, the NSA can't tap my phones. They would need a warrant. You know what? They don't need to tap your damn phones.
Right.
Every one of our phones is now either cell-based or IP technology, which means that they're packed. They have packets flying across the internet, Aaron. Right. So now you and I are talking on Skype, which means that all of our conversations are broken up into little data bits and bytes, packets that travel across the internet. They don't need to tap my Skype number. They don't need to tap yours. Guess what happens to all those bits and packets? They go up into the cloud. They go into a router or a switch. Guess who sells those routers and switches? Cisco. Who's got the world cornered on routers and switches? About 86% of the market. Cisco. Those big time multi-million-dollar Catalyst switches that are sitting in a central office somewhere with a bunch of wires coming into it. They don't need to tap your phone, Aaron. They just need to create a backdoor to that Cisco switch.
Yep.
And then the NSA just grabs all of that raw data. Then they put the packets back together in Fort Meade. And if they want to find out what the hell Aaron was talking about on April 1st of 2018, they just query that data against you.
Yep.
And they have everything that they need.
Yep.
There's a reason why there's that big, gigantic facility outside of Utah that's 10 floors deep, just stacked with servers and cooling mechanisms. That's because they're sucking up all that metadata at the cloud level, not just conversations in the United States, but conversations in Europe, conversations in the Mideast, conversations and exchanges of information. You don't need to tap individual telephones when everyone's got to come back to the post office. Mm-hmm. It's like the best example. That's right. The NSA is not interested in selling it. The NSA is interested in spying on you.
Well, Cisco's selling it to the NSA.
Well, Cisco didn't have a choice. Cisco didn't have a choice.
Right.
The government went to them and said, "Listen, this is the power of the government. This is why we got to be really, really careful."
Right.
The federal government, the world, go to these, high-tech manufacturers like Cisco and say, "Listen, Aaron, CEO of Cisco, here's how it's going to work, pal. All right? We can make your life hard or we can make your life easy." Well, what do you mean? What are you talking about? Well, we can issue all kinds of rules and regulations and make it really, really hard for you to sell your stuff domestically and internationally. We can just make it really tough, and which would make it really hard for you to sell your products and services and keep your people employed and, the shareholders and stock, all the things that go along with running a business. Or we can make it easy. And so Aaron, the CEO of Cisco, says, well, okay, how do I make it? What's option B all about? Here's what we do, Aaron. Every single switch that you build, every single switch that comes flying out of a factory, every single microprocessor, every single semiconductor, every single chip, every single one of your devices, you work with our guys, our technical experts, and your engineers, and you guys build in a backdoor that we only have access to. All right? If you do that for us, we back off. We use our influence with all of these alphabet soup of agencies. We use our influence with the President of the United States and his cabinet, and we make sure that the regulations and rules and conditions as it relates to import, export, banking regulations, technical regulations, intellectual property, you name it, we'll work with you to make it easy for you to sell your products. And then before you know it, all those products get out there. It would be like instead of the NSA hanging out in front of your house waiting for the mailman to deliver the mail, they just go to the post office and grab all your mail. All your mail that's coming and going, they open it, read it, stick it back in the envelope and send it on its way.
Yeah.
That's what's happened. Mm-hmm. And in a twisted kind of way, Facebook has done the same thing, except we volunteered for that.
Right.
We offer up all this information about our likes, dislikes, who we are, our family, our friends, our dreams, wishes, the kinds of things that we share on Facebook with complete strangers that we would not share with our family members, mm-hmm. right? And then the Facebook grabs all that information, number one, to sell that valuable information to advertisers, micro-targeting, micro-marketing, and then also to these intelligence agencies to get an idea of what people are going to do ahead of time. And little by little, the government gets bigger. The government takes more and more of our rights away, our privacy, our ability to defend ourselves, our ability to speak our mind. And they're able to determine exactly what we're going to do with every one of those hot button issues before we do something. That's the nefarious nature of what we have just volunteered for. And it's too late. They already have everything.
Yeah.
The only time that information, if Facebook went out of business today and every single person on the planet dumped their Facebook accounts and went radio silent on social media, the data that they have now would become obsolete in about 10 years. It would take 10 to 15 years. That's how much information that they already have about us.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if I addressed your concern around the privacy. I think all the stuff that we see in the paper about the European Union moving to do this, the European Union moving to do that, it's all onion paper. It's all onion paper. They're just doing it to appease the public. It's already too late. Now, if Facebook may go out of business, Mark Zuckerberg is not going to be personally hurt. He's still going to be worth billions.
Right.
Not the 700 billion, but he'll be worth 70 billion.
Yeah.
All those executives still get to live their lives and move on. I mean, unless the Securities and Exchange Commission come after him for insider trading, if those executives are dumping stock ahead of what they knew was going to happen, unless they nail him for that, they all get away. They all get away scot-free, and all that information is still there.
Yep.
So a lot of what I see, maybe I'm being really jaded and cynical. Maybe I am as I get older. But man, I don't believe these guys.
No,
I believe it's just bullshit. It's just fodder for the masses to appease us to think that something's actually happening when nothing's going to happen.
Exactly. And the thing, I understand. What I got into when I signed up for, these social media accounts, obviously. But the thing is, a lot of consumers, a lot of people who are not tech savvy like me and you and the person listening to this podcast, don't understand it. And they just sign up thinking that it's totally fine, that all their information is totally safe, but it's not.
No.
And you want to even go down a deeper rabbit hole. Let's talk about companies and the analytics they get from doing Facebook ads. I mean, guys, we wouldn't sell any of your information because that's not what we are. We are not that type of company. We will never be that type of company. And if I ever get to the point where I'm starting to do that stuff, Shane, you better bring my neck and
vice versa.
And
absolutely,
get ready,
absolutely,
beat the shit out of me. But the thing is, we've got so much information off of you guys already that, guys, it's scary.
Yes.
I mean, I don't even do Facebook ads anymore because it's so scary, the information that we get off of, that we already have, that we still have off of you guys. It will never do anything with it.
I think, the one silver lining, potentially, there could be, and again, I preface that with the word, I qualify that word could, because honestly, to be honest with you, Aaron, I'm going to sound cynical again. These governments have gotten so powerful; it's so damn hard to do anything without them sticking their nose or placing pressure on your throat.
Yeah.
But there may be an opportunity. There may be an opportunity for an entrepreneur, some bright person out there that says, I'm going to create a social media platform that is going to be unlike Facebook. Kind of like what perhaps Kim.com and people like that may be able to pull it off. I mean, there are
ones starting to pop up, but the thing is, they've got so much of a hole. Facebook has so much of a hole.
But perhaps so. It goes back down to technology, right? So if the foundation of the technology is built in a way where the metadata or the data is automatically deleted or encrypted or whatever, or destroyed, I don't think it's ever destroyed, but you know what I mean. It's encrypted to the point where it's not usable.
Right.
And I remember listening to Kim.com talk about the internet party, or what he wants to build the next the 2.0 version of the internet, and he's talking about it. But if something like that came along and it was really valid and true, and not just a bunch of political hype that was used, then I think you see a mass migration because technology is here to stay. We have gotten used to Facebook and Twitter. I mean, you're talking to a guy that used to get up and go to work in an actual office, 5, 6, 7 days a week. And now my kids and your kids and our grandkids, they're not going to get up and go into an office. They're going to get up and walk 5 feet into another room, plug in their computer, and go to work.
Exactly.
So the internet has that type of flexibility that the internet provides is not going to go away. The genie's out of the bottle, right?
Right.
But if somebody comes along the pike, along the path, and creates a platform that is Facebook-like but is not Facebook, the antithesis of Facebook as it relates to privacy and data, I think that company has a really, really bright future. I hold out hope for something like that, but I remain pessimistic that whoever comes up with Facebook 2.0 or Facebook 3.0 is going to get all of a sudden get a knock on their door from the CIA or the GCHQ or Israeli intelligence or the Mossad, and they're going to want their 2 cents into whatever new thing is going to come along. That's my only fear.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
And then the government's going to want to make it hard on them to, do all the stuff they need to do. But
same game.
Same game.
Different. Yep. Same game. It has not changed from the 1920s when the government started to grow and anti-monopoly and antitrust regulations started to roll out. Ever since Teddy Roosevelt started his war against corporations, which is fine. There's a place for government.
Right.
But certain individuals within the government all of a sudden realize the power that they have with a pen and a piece of paper, that they can bring a multi-million-dollar company to its knees unless that company complies and does what the government wants them to do.
Yep.
And that kind of power can be used for evil. So.
Exactly.
Anyway.
So I thought we haven't scared you guys already enough. We should start turning into a security podcast.
Well, I think listen, if you're going to stay with Facebook, just be aware.
Exactly.
Just be aware of what you put up there.
Right.
Stop posting a bunch of your pictures. Don't let everybody and anybody know. Yeah, absolutely. Not only that, but you don't need to check in and let me know that you're at the gym and that you're at the doctor's office and then you're back at the gym and now you're at church. I don't need to know. Exactly. And neither should the government or anybody else that's quasi interested in your life. Use it for what it's for. Use it for. I tell you, one of the things that I love about Facebook is because it reminds me of all of the birthdays of the people in my network. Because I have a tendency to forget those things.
Yeah, exactly. Same here.
So birthdays, anniversaries, little things like that. And if you want to share an article that you want to or something important like a major event, okay, fine. Yeah. But you don't need to be in it all day, every day. Get a life.
Yeah. And there are some groups like Lynch Productions LLC and my group NVDA Screen Reader Forum that we discuss questions and concerns and stuff about NVDA that are for Facebook and that thrive through Facebook.
That's right.
Also, too, these single sign-on things where you go to this website, sign on with Facebook. It's so easy just to do that.
Yes, and the moment that you
go
do that,
through the apps, go through the apps because there are some apps that have had your data and are not even valid anymore, and I've had those for the past, 10, 15, God knows how long years.
Absolutely correct.
Don't need to have it.
Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. So just it's there's an old saying, technology is like fire. It's a great tool, but a poor master. So just recognize what you have and use it. Use it as a tool.
Sense. Just use common sense. But half the world's a bunch of
I don't know, Aaron. I don't have a whole lot of hope for these millennials out there because they're constantly on the internet. Snapchat.
I know.
Constantly, putting I mean, you'll get two 21-year-olds together in a restaurant, and after they sit down, they both have their heads down and buried in their cell phones, and they're texting and tweeting each other back and forth, even though they're only 4 feet across.
There,
yeah. My kids are not much better, so. But I mean, you just be smart about what be smart about what you're putting out there.
I mean, it's kind of weird that you bring that up, because I think about, okay, what's going to happen in the future with this augmented reality and this virtual reality stuff? Are we going to be
artificial intelligence?
Artificial intelligence and all that other kind of stuff too. Are we going to be so immersed in the technology that as a society that's what all we're going to see? We're not going to see the person behind the technology in the glass.
I think so. If you and Ashley ever get a chance, you need to. I'll send you the link. There's a movie called Her with Joaquin Phoenix. Have you ever seen the movie or listened to it? I'll send it to you. I'll send you the link. There's a guy that's taken his time to take a bunch of movies and put it up on the web, audio description format. Cool. But without spoiling the plot, Aaron, it's in the future, and people have developed personal relationships with their operating systems and artificial intelligence instead of human beings.
Wow, it's almost like Ready Player One.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, well, think about it, Aaron. If think about the average human being, right? The human beings are unpredictable. Right. Sometimes they make us happy. Sometimes they make us sad. Sometimes they piss us off. Yeah. We're humans. It's really hard for us to get along with other human beings, right? Because we have self-thought and the ability to make choices and decisions. Right? We have freedom of choice. But if a artificial intelligence existed out there, that when you walked into your room, walked into your house, hopped in your car, followed you wherever you went, and was part of your life, and would talk with you and shared your interests and would banter with you and laugh with you and never give you one day's worth of grief, always the same, every day, always happy, never moody. Yeah, it would be really easy to build a bond with some inanimate being like that rather than a real human being, right?
Yeah. Well, and
never have a bad day. Yeah. Never get ticked off because you forgot to leave the toilet seat down, or things like that, right?
Yeah.
So,
but I can hear people saying, us in the comments, well, what about programmers had to program these stuff? Not necessarily. There are things called neural. I hate artificial intelligence because it's not. It's machine learning, but it's whatever. Artificial intelligence neural networks.
They're getting. Well,
they'll learning.
Absolutely
from what we're doing.
That's right.
From themselves,
right.
And then they are going through and this is what this means, and so you can't say that stuff's being programmed. It still is, but it will get to the point.
There's no need. We were talking about Facebook. Now we're kind of bouncing around, getting all over the place, but. IBM's got this supercomputer called Watson, and if you want to teach Watson about a human being, you don't need to sit there and type stuff and interface with that computer every day. Plug that sucker into Facebook, and let it do its thing, and it'll learn everything.
It's almost like that. I don't remember what it was, but it was some AI chatbot or something that Microsoft or Twitter or somebody developed. And they let it loose on the internet, and they had to take it down within, I think, 45 minutes to an hour because it was. Because people on the internet were being stupid and being funny, thinking it was being funny, and had this thing basically saying racial slurs, saying that
Yes.
I don't remember what they were, but it's just awful stuff, and it's just like we can't, as a society. Just two bad eggs ruin the whole damn basket, and it's so annoying.
Yeah, it does. So that movie paints a very dystopian picture of our future, and movies like that, and Blade Runner, and other things. But I really believe, if we're not careful, that's where we're headed. In societies like Japan, young men don't date women. Right. They have relationships with their computers and these artificial. It's the weirdest thing. But and for that reason, they're not getting together. They're not hooking up. They're not having sex. They're not having kids.
Right.
The Japanese are facing a huge issue here in the very near future as the population grows and gets older and older. They're not producing offspring.
Mm-hmm.
So those are things that we need to be aware. Just kind of be cognizant of. But it's coming. Artificial intelligence is going to get to the point where it can program itself. Mm-hmm. It can replicate itself. I mean, it's coming. There's nothing. I mean, as valuable as it is to walk into a house and have the thermostat kick on and have artificial intelligence automatically, step in and start cooking your dinner for you, and then as you're walking from the shower to the living room, giving you an update of what's happened in the world and your stock ticker and what's happened in your portfolio, and you missed a call from mom, and tomorrow's Chris's birthday. As valuable as that is, oh boy. The other side of that coin, kind of dangerous.
Yep.
So.
Exactly.
We may wake up one day and discover we're obsolete.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway.
And then we don't know how to do anything for ourselves because technology and artificial intelligence are doing everything for us. They're producing this podcast for us.
Yeah. Yes, that's right. Or artificial intelligence may wake up one day and say, we don't need these humans anymore.
Yeah.
We run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. These freaking carbon-based units need to sleep. Screw that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
and
where it could
went. The world's taken over by technology.
Terminator.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Skynet goes self-aware, and all of a sudden, a bunch of robot soldiers proceed to kill us all because we're in the way.
But you don't think that could happen?
Oh boy!
I firmly believe that it can.
I especially when you read, I stumble across articles every now and then from DARPA when they're experimenting. Have you read these articles about how they're experimenting with mechanical horses? And they've got a mechanical cheetah that the Army's experimenting with right now the only thing holding it back is it needs to be tied to a power source. But eventually when they figure that out, a small nuclear fusion reactor or something. Then all of a sudden you've got this freaking metal creature that's going to be able to, run for miles, be able to sneak around corners, spy on the enemy, spy on you, attack, rip you to shreds. I mean, it's scary stuff what they're working on.
And you can't kill it.
No, you cannot. It's invincible.
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose you could blow it. Blow it into smithereens with a tank round or a tow missile or something like that. But short of that, no heat signature, doesn't generate any heat, so you can't pick it up on infrared. It's not a living human being or a human thing.
No AK-47 bullets going to pierce it.
No. And then what if you took that technology and then you miniaturized it? And all of a sudden you got birds and bumblebees and that are just robots, mice. Robots that are sneaking into your office, sneaking into your positions with you and your troops and spying on you and spreading disease, carrying anthrax with it.
Yeah, biological.
Yeah. So I mean, it's the DARPA is working on stuff like that. And if people listening to this podcast think I'm nuts, all they got to do is just go. They're so proud of it. You can just Google.
They'll find it. Yeah.
What DARPA's working on.
They don't care.
No, they do not. And everything that we're using today, from the internet to a certain degree, Facebook, all started as a DARPA project. So here we are.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So be careful out there, people.
Yeah. Be careful. Again, just use common sense.
Yeah, which is very uncommon these days.
Exactly. Which I have a hard time believing in anymore.
Yeah. But it'll be interesting. I'll pay attention to what Zuckerberg and the others have to say at these hearings and what comes of it.
It's not Zuckerberg anymore. It's Fuckerberg.
Yeah, it'll be. He sure screwed us, but that's okay. But we volunteered.
Yeah.
We said, "Thank you, sir. May I have another?"
Yeah.
But we'll see how it all plays out. But anyway, I think we've gone long in the tooth on this. But just pay attention to what's going on. Be aware. Don't listen to the mainstream media propaganda. Do your own research about what's true and what's real. Get multiple sources. I highly encourage you guys to look outside of the U.S. Look at media sources from outside of the United States. And gather information from all corners of the world, and then decide what's real and what's not.
Shane, what sources do you look at outside of the world so that people can know kind of where to pinpoint where to start and trying to, if they want to do their own research? And guys, do, because if we're wrong on something, come back and tell us. We'll definitely come on there and say, hey, I'll even go one further. I'll even give you credit.
No, well, if you follow me on Twitter, guys, you will see. You can go and look at my followers or the people that I follow, and you can see all the sources that I use. But I will pull. I will read articles from Al Jazeera, the New Arab News, Herat, Israeli News, the UK Guardian, the Telegraph, Indian publications such as the Times of India, even state-run Chinese news agencies, Southeast Asian news newspapers and publications in Indonesia, Malaysia, the Philippines. I'll get even Sputnik and Pravda from Russia. I'll read it all, and I'll try to, in my own mind, try to piece together what's real and what's propaganda. Because to be honest with you, the U.S. news agency, the Western news agencies were agencies that at once you could have trusted. You can't trust them anymore. The days of Peter Jennings and Walter Cronkite and what the Washington Post used to be, truth seekers, they're all gone. They're all owned. They're all owned by 6 major media companies that have hooks into intelligence agencies and vice versa. So when I read an article, I always ask myself, okay, what's going on here? Who's going to benefit from moving opinion based upon this article? And if I ask that question fairly quickly, I'm able to identify who's behind it. And then once you identify who's behind it, you can get a sense of whether it's propaganda or real. Mm-hmm. But I highly encourage. The Twitter is also a wonderful tool. Just go out and find alternative news sources from all around the world, from the African continent to Russia to India and every part in between, and find out what's going on there from their perspective. Read an article about a U.S. Or a NATO move that's published by a Western publication, and then read how the people that are affected in those regions view the same move. And then you try to, somewhere in the middle, there's a truth, right? When NATO moves a bunch of troops to the border of a particular country, NATO publishes a story based upon topic A. Well, what about the people that live there? And read their publications and see how they view troop movements. Are they happy about it? Do they get nervous? Do they think war is imminent? How do they view it? You know, when the Department of Defense sells billions and billions of arms to Saudi Arabia, and we praise and we pound our chest, we've sold millions of Lockheed Martin and Raytheon, all these guys are cranking out Hellfire missiles left and right. It's a good thing for the U.S. Read about the people in that region. How do they feel? We may be all excited about it, but they're like, oh, great. The Americans just sold a bunch of more weapons to the freaking oppressors that oppress us every day. That's the way they may view it, right? So that's what I do. I gather information from multiple sources, and then I kind of, draw my own conclusions.
Awesome. That should help a lot of people.
Yeah, I suggest all of us, all of you listening to these podcasts, stop watching the freaking TV reality shows. Stop watching the damn
news.
Stop watching the damn Kardashians. Actually become slightly interested in politics. Interested in politics and find out what's going on around the world, how the lives of other people are affected by the decisions and the choices that we make, and vice versa. And then you'll understand what's really happening. Yeah. You know, if I get one more tweet or news article about Kim Kardashian's butt, I think I'll chunk my cell phone. I'm not interested in her damn ass. So stop tweeting about it. Yeah. I don't care what the Kardashians do or don't do. Yeah. Anyway, but that, I mean, that's what is 60 to 70% of the population in the planet. They're worried about just making ends meet from one day to the next, and they don't necessarily want to be bothered by all these things. But we've got to get smart. We've got to carve out 35 minutes to an hour every day and just get a sense of what's happening around the world. So we can make better decisions with our politics, the people that we put into power, and the choices that we make with our dollars. Mm-hmm. If you know that XYZ Bank is actively involved in funding terrorists or funding regimes that oppress their people, maybe you'll go to that XYZ Bank and pull your cash out of it and put it somewhere else.
And say, hey, this is what I found on the internet. Bring it to them. Bring it to the branch manager. This is what I found on the internet. What are you going to do about it?
Well, they're not going to be able to do anything about it. But the bottom line is, you can do something about it.
Yeah, exactly. How are you going to help this cause? Because if one person did it, and multiple people did it, then it's going to start. This whole perception of, we can't do anything because the government's so big, that's complete BS.
Wrong.
Because you can take evidence.
Stop fueling the beast. Right. If you're against the cause, stop funding it. Yeah. Find out who's behind it. Stop giving them your money. Yeah. Stop going to their restaurants. Stop buying their movies. Yeah. Stop buying their cars. Stop flying their airlines.
Multiple podcasts, including us, have said this before. Is if you don't like the way something is going, vote with your wallet. For 1, 2, find evidence what's going on, and 3, present it to them. Because once a dog is presented, once a company or an industry or a CEO or manager of a company is presented with hard evidence that this is what's going on, they're gonna do something about it. They're gonna tuck their tail between their legs and run.
Well, if they get enough pushback. I mean, Twitter is a powerful tool. Don't be a bot. Be a real individual. Right. Take the time, identify the Twitter handle of a particular company, and just take the time to say, like what happened with Wells Fargo about a year or 2 years ago. Take the time and write at whatever XYZ company, dear sir/madam, just want you to know I have withdrawn all my funds from your bank, which I've been doing business with for 15 years. You have lost a loyal customer because of your decision as it relates to X, Y, or Z. And then move on. Mm-hmm. Share that with your friends, get it out there, and then if one person does it, not a big deal. If 2 people, 3 people, 10, 20, 30, 100, then somebody starts paying attention. We vote every single day with our wallets. We don't need to wait for midterms and the every 4-year cycle of the presidential election. Yep. We vote every single day. And as a matter of fact, if you held on to that dollar and refused to spend it at wherever and held on to that for you and your family, you guys are better off. Exactly. Don't go to that restaurant. Take that dollar and go down to the grocery store and buy yourself a bag of red beans and rice instead. Mm-hmm. Feed your family and hold on to that cash. You're better off. So anyway, I'll get off my soapbox. But we vote every day. Just get smart about it. Become politically active every day. Not just care about your
more educated than the millennials who think they can just want everything and cry about stuff that when they don't get their way.
And frankly, again, this is the other side of the coin of the internet. With the internet and everything that you have available today, there's absolutely no excuse for you to remain in the dark. Ignorance is no longer an excuse.
Exactly.
You don't need to get in the car and go down to the physical library. The library is on the internet.
Yep.
Anything you want, any bit of information that you want to gather is available. You want to go to college? You can go to college on the internet.
Yep.
You want to take college classes for free? Harvard, MIT, Yale, and others are offering college classes on the internet for free. You want to learn about a particular topic? It's available to you for free. Mm-hmm. So there's no excuse for ignorance anymore. None.
Right.
You can't sit there and say, I didn't know. Yep. It's not that you didn't know. You just didn't care enough to look.
It's too lazy to get off your ass and...
Absolutely right.
Pull out your phone, open up your internet browser, and search.
Absolutely correct. And you don't have to use Google. If you don't like Google, you can use DuckDuckGo. You can use StartPage. There's tons of browsers out there that are not going to capture your information and share it. So anyway, it's out there. All right, we'll wrap it up because we can keep talking for. I know I certainly can keep talking forever.
Yeah. Yeah. So, guys, you can, always write us on Twitter, Linson_Pro. That's LINSON_Pro LLC. You can follow the company on Facebook, and I suggest you do because we post on Twitter, and that automatically goes to Facebook. So whether you're on one or the other, you'll still get the news that way. That's facebook.com/Linson Productions LLC. And if you get mad at us and just want to email, hate, storm us, you're welcome to do so. All comments and questions and phone calls will be used for commentary on different shows. You can do so at Linson Productions LLC at gmail.com. That's LINSONPRODUCTIONS LLC at gmail.com. And lastly, our phone number is 502-536-9131. Now, Shane, we probably know where we can find you always on Twitter, because that actually goes to Facebook as well. So if you want to, find him on Facebook, you're going to get the same things you do on Twitter, which is totally fine. But your Twitter handle is Shane P1.
Yes, sir. At SHANE, the letter P, the number 1. So Aaron, yes. The stuff I put on Twitter automatically gets pushed to our Facebook page?
It gets pushed to. So if they find you on Facebook, then they will see your tweets.
Oh! If they find me on Facebook, they'll see my tweets. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought my tweets were automatically getting pushed to the Linson Productions. Okay. All right, that's fine. I was about to say you may want to think about
that. No.
Because I get into Twitter battles with people sometimes, and I go toe to. I was in a little bit of a back and forth with Brett Baer from Fox about a week ago. So anyway, okay. Yeah, you can find me at Shane P1 on Twitter, and that's the best place to find me.
Yeah, awesome. Cool. And guys, you can download the Spreaker media player and look for Linson. Look for the LP Podcast Network, where we're consolidating all of our shows. So if you don't like this one, there's going to be other ones that you can listen to, and we're just going to make it easier for you guys to find us. And we'd like to thank Spreaker for all the awesome work that they do on their mobile application and their desktop application for users of the visually impaired, and what they do for accessibility. It's really, really neat. And I'm going to show you guys in later podcasts because it's just really cool.
Aaron, how do you spell that so they can find it on the App Store?
So it's just SPREAKER. And there's the application where you can download to start your own broadcast, and then there's the media player as well. But if you also have an Amazon Echo, you can actually install the Spreaker skill.
Cool.
And you can tell her to play the LP Podcast Network, and she will.
Cool. Talk about artificial intelligence. Wow. Yeah, cool, man.
Yeah. So that's another reason why we are using Spreaker, because of that. I think it's really neat.
Hey, you want to plug Audible? If
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And we also would like to thank Audible for their support. Guys, you can find tons of books on probably a lot of the topics that we covered today, and more. They have a library of over 130,000 more to come, and it's not just like back in 1990 where you had to wait for the National Library Service, or you had to wait for Bookshare to have the book up maybe a year and a half, maybe 6 months after the book you wanted to read was already out. You can go and get it now. And with Audible, I'm finding that I read a lot more books through listening than I ever did where I'm working now. So it's a really good way to consume books. It's a really awesome way to do it. And with our code, you can get your first book and your first 30 days free. Just go to Audible Trial, that's AUDIBLETRIAL.com/LPN.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. So, guys, we will see you in the next LP podcast and other podcasts from the LP Podcast Network. Shane, you want to sign off?
Yes, sir. Thank you
Awesome.
so much for joining us, guys. We will see you guys later, and take care.
See you guys.